You know, there's so many cash businesses, and the new Uber. You know what the new Uber is, right?
No. What's the new Uber?
Okay, I don't agree with it, but it's OnlyFans.
Oh yeah,
I think that is a horrible.
So I am so glad you brought this up because I kind of wanted this to come up organically on the podcast because I have an interesting. So for people that don't know, OnlyFans is the quasi new porn, right? I mean, that's really it's mostly, not exclusively, but it's mostly attractive women or a subset of women that a subset of Americans would find attractive.
Yeah.
Different fetishes for different people, I guess. Where they're basically putting their content. They'll attract people on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and then they'll attract people to pay some monthly fee to get content behind the paywall, which the content behind the paywall can or cannot be pornographic, but it's starting to go that direction. Mostly it's pornographic, okay? And it's interesting, and my criticism is like, I'm a total free market libertarian. If BlumGum or my sister or some hot Instagram influencer can put up, content behind a paywall and make $20 an hour or $20 a month, good for you. Like, I'm all about the free market. What worries me more than the girls that are putting it up, and it's predominantly female, is what is going on with the psyche or the finances of the guys that are paying. Oof. Because in my mind, I picture the guy who's paying for that, and this is very prejudiced and stereotypical, to be kind of that like hermit. Incel. Yeah, incel. Hermit who lives in mom's basement, doesn't have the social skills to meet a girl who might want to date them.
Right.
And in some fucked up fantasy world, like guys who go to strip clubs and think that the girl fell in love with them. It's like, no, they fell in love with your dollar bills, buddy. They're not falling in love with you. I feel like we're going to end up with this whole generation of like younger men who don't know how to talk to women, and they think that all sexualized interactions are like a pay to play model. Like, I'm really worried that this is going to mess up the psyche of like a whole generation of young men.
I agree with you. I also agree with you on the complete polar opposite side. What is it doing to the women who are making money off of it? Is that their only value to this world, is to, show themselves nude online? Like, I don't agree with it. But also, I agree with you on the fact that it's not my place to tell anyone what to do.
Yeah.
If it's not deplorable,
it is deplorable. Like, I don't care. I really don't care that it exists. I'm not making a moral judgment. I'm a free market guy. However you needed to find a way to make money in COVID. But I'm like, ooh, if we just really talk about the long-term good for society, I got to think this is a net negative.
It's a net negative for sure. Is only detracting from, and it depends on what your morality is, but at the same time, some of the people who you think are the cleanest people in the world have some of the dirtiest secrets.
Yeah.
Just look at your homeboy, Gates.
Oh, well, everybody's got some weird fetish. I don't know why he's my homeboy. Like,
I'm kidding.
Okay, there we go. I was going to say, whoa. Again, and I just, there's certain things where I can look at it and be like, yes, that is allowed to be part of a free society. But then I can also take a step back and be like, but would I want my kids participating?
Sure not.
And this is one of those things where I think having kids give people perspective where it's like, hey, I'm not the morality police. I wouldn't pass legislation. I wouldn't vote for a bill that said OnlyFans can't exist. But at the same time, would I want my daughter or my son participating as either a entrepreneur or a subscriber? Like, fuck no. Like, that's not what I think we want for society.
Right.
And for whatever reason, in our modern day, saying that out loud, somebody would frame that as like, well, Scott's a sexist. He doesn't think women should have a right to earn money. I'm like, no, exactly the opposite. Women can earn money however they want.
Right.
But I also don't know if that's a celebrated part of culture that like we want to encourage. I don't know. It's just weird, man.
I think the dawn of technology is going to create things that are inevitable and that we cannot change. Technology, I would say the iPhone was the game changer.
Yeah.
Because it put the power of a computer in your hand, and it forced Wi-Fi to get better, forced 5G to come out, which, I love 5G.
Yeah, so do I.
But,
we're really playing with toys in the last decade that we don't really know what the consequences are
at all. And I think, like you said, it's gonna have an overall negative effect long term. And I can't say I'm down with it, but at the same time, who am I? I had my opinions back in the day when someone was like, you shouldn't do, and I'd be like, fuck you in my mind. Who are you to tell me? And some of these things I for sure regret. But the main upside for me is they didn't live on the internet for the rest of my days. And even, well,
BlumGum.
yeah,
I mean, because there's somebody out there right now that's like, oh, you hypocritical motherfuckers. Like, you're telling us what women can and cannot do online. And you already admitted an hour ago that BlumGum has some questionable content. So I get the hypocrisy of it. Sure. I own the fact that I'm a hypocrite, as all human beings are. But it's like, there's this weird thing when we pass over to the sexualization part that I just think is like, you know, I don't think I'm making this up. Japan's having a problem with their birth rate. Like, I think like 10 years ago, Chris, you're going to have to fact check this for me. I think 10 years ago.
Because of the porn?
No, Japan. Yeah, because of the porn. Japan is now selling more adult diapers than they are kids' diapers because they can't get their youth to have sex and have kids because they've become completely addicted with this incel life, you know, not meeting people in person, instant access to pornography 24/7 on the internet. And like Japan has a real problem where they have a population
it's a tiny
process.
country in general.
Well, and my understanding also is that they know that they can't afford to have kids, so they're just not having them.
Yeah, you got to look this up. See if that fact about them selling more adult diapers versus baby diapers is a real thing. Because the other thing that's interesting about Japan is they can't fix the problem the way American does, is because they can't fix the same way American would, because it's insanely hard to immigrate to Japan. So they're not about letting anybody into the country. Like, they can't grow their youth population through immigration because they have probably some of the most strict immigration laws in the world. And so if you don't allow immigration and your young people ain't fucking, you're literally a dying country.
You got a baby problem.
You got a baby problem.
And honestly though, isn't that just Darwinism?
I don't know, man.
Listen, it's unfortunate.
But I like Japanese culture. I like samurai movies and anime. Like, I need
them
to keep making. I love
sushi.
Sushi. Like, you know, it's so weird. I love everything about Japanese culture, and there is nothing that makes me want to go to Japan. I don't know if they've been so good at exporting their culture that I'm like, oh, I don't even need to go there, right? It's like,
no. I definitely want to go to Japan, and I think you should go, and I think you should go with me.
So we would get in trouble. My wife would not allow that. But my son, my 19-year-old, he's taking Japanese in college right now. He grew up just loving anime and comics and kind of that escapism of that world.
Weeaboo?
What? A weeaboo?
Can you, Chris? Can you?
All right. So first thing on the diapers, I think Chris has got this.
So yeah, first of all, I found a thing on the Atlantic that simply just says they will be outselling baby diapers soon.
Yeah.
But the other thing it points out is that the weird thing about their country that's not real in any other country is that the highest spending is by people over 65 years old.
Oh, yeah. So they have basically
people over 60 account for 44% of Japan's consumption.
Holy shit.
So they've got a bunch of young kids that should be out meeting people, having sex, having babies, spending money, like adding to the national GDP, and they're not. Right. Not, and I'm worried, and I'm not blaming, of course, this all on OnlyFans, but I'm worried that OnlyFans is a symptom of like America starting to go to that direction where it's like kids are lost, right? Kids are shooting up schools. Kids don't know how to interact with people and have conversations. Kids think that like 100% of their sexual interaction can come online through a subscription service. Like, it's a pretty scary moment in time.
I wish and hope that technology does not take over our lives so much that we become a Wall-E generation. And we're already well on our way there. A Peloton is not the same as going out and running in the streets through the mountains and getting fresh air in your lungs and having the scenery and being able to look out at things. You're looking at a video and you're running. Yes, you're getting in shape, but mentally, does it have the same effect? Probably, I'm going to say almost definitely not. Yeah. It is a good functional way to maybe start getting in shape, but I don't think it's necessarily the best thing to do. I think it should be a good transitionary tool to get out more.
Yeah. It's the Peloton's basically a supplement, right? It shouldn't be the only thing you're doing. Cause like you said, you got to get out there and you got to get there and be amongst people. Cause we're human. We're like social creatures.
Right.
There's a guy that you and I have talked about, and I watched a bunch of his YouTube videos, Scott Galloway, and I've brought this up in the podcast before. He's worried about the Peloton as a symptom of another problem where it's like, if you're, let's say, wealthier, you can basically live in your own bubble for the rest of your life. You can watch exactly the type of TV you want. You can watch exactly the kind of news you want. You can do a Peloton workout with an instructor who looks just like you. You can go through and select by, music type. Obviously, you can see a profile picture of, I'd really, I'd really like to run watching a white female while listening to Rage Against the Machine. There it is, right? So it's like, so the fact that the technology universe, and you can pick the type of girl that you want to look at on OnlyFans, it's really allowing us to be in this super segregated bubble where it's like, oh, well, if I don't go to the movies anymore, I don't see people that don't look like me unless I make a conscious effort. If I work out in the Peloton, I don't go to the gym and run into G and strike up a friendship with somebody who I might have never met in a different world. Right. And it's like, it's a little scary where it's like, oh, I can self-select into my own news bubble if I want to, my own ethnic bubble. I don't even have to be around people to do, lowly tasks like shopping. It's like, yeah, but that's where you went out into the community and met people. And like, I know that that's been hard on you because you're a really social guy. You like going to a bar, shooting pool, and meeting 5 different randoms, Right.
It's actually what I love, to be honest. First of all, to your point, I think what's happening is an alternate reality is being created. Anyone's reality, whatever they want it to be, they can create, whether it be sexual or enjoyment or whatever. But the problem is that's not what reality is. It's not. When you go outside, people have devolved social skills nowadays. They don't want to have a conversation. If you ask them a question, they look at you like you just told them that they smell like, whatever. Yeah. And it's sad because that is going to have a major effect on our country, I would say, in the next 20 years, even, if not sooner. I'd say within the next 10 years. I think that we're going down a bad path with technology. Not that I don't love technology, okay? I think it's amazing, but I think our dependency on it has become too strong, and it is going to change the intellectual capacity of our race, because intellect is not just what you know and what you're able to process as information. There's also a psychological aspect to it as to how you react to certain things. Like if you're watching YouTube all day or playing your video games or watching OnlyFans or on your Peloton, and then you go out into the real world and you get slapped with a large dose of reality of, something significant happening in real life, you're not now able to deal with that because you're just used to it happening to other people or seeing it in an artificial world rather than being able to process that information and psychologically control your feelings about it.
Yeah.
And I just think there's repercussions from our technology boom that are not yet even known, understood, and definitely have not been realized. And I don't even know what the solution to it would be because we're so far down the rabbit hole that we're basically, it's going to be the Matrix pretty soon, man.
Yeah.
We're going to be a program.